Welcome, everyone, to the Best of Markham Podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca. Here with me today is Fei Lu from Winged Canvas. Fei, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks, Igor. Well, my name is Fei Lu. I'm a visual artist and also a designer and entrepreneur. I founded Wing Canvas. We're an online school of illustration, and we're also a YouTube channel, and we help art nerds around the world learn visual storytelling for free. So people can start learning with us completely free with weekly live streams as well as video tutorials. And yeah, we're based in Markham and we're celebrating 13 years of business.
Okay, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
And how did you get into the art business?
Um, oh my goodness. Well, my family, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I was very familiar just growing up with my parents having their own business, me helping out. So I was just, I guess, around entrepreneurs my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I went to school for illustration and I went to school in California actually, and then came back to Canada, worked as a designer and art director for about 15 years, was in the design and advertising industry. And
Hmm.
then I worked with all kinds of amazing creative people from illustrators to photographers to filmmakers and editors. And I just realized I really love working with people, especially creative people. And I always wanted to be a teacher. So
Right.
my mom said when I was 4 years old, I had all my teddy bears kind of lined up and I would pretend to be a teacher. I don't have a recollection of that memory, but apparently I've always wanted to teach. So when I guess I quit my job in advertising when my grandfather fell ill. So I did a bit of traveling. And then when I came back, I just thought, okay, what is my dream business? And I realized when I was 12 years old, I attended an overnight art camp.
Hmm.
And that changed my life. It just transformed who I was. I got to be completely myself and meet incredible people. And so that's what I wanted to do. So Wing Canvas actually started as a local art school
Hmm.
in a corner unit in Markham. And Wing Canvas transformed into an online business post-pandemic.
Oh, a lot of businesses actually took their, I guess their skills, their entire company online during COVID. It actually happened to us as well. Obviously, personal training used to be a purely in-person thing. Even before COVID, there was a little bit of online, but it was very much, underground kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas now, about 60% of our clients are online, even though I live and work in Markham. So quite interesting how that came to be.
Yeah, it's incredible now, post-pandemic, that you could be a small business in Markham and have a global audience. And
Yeah,
it's pretty incredible, actually.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, our audience and our students transformed as well. So we have a global network of students and fans on the channel. So it's pretty cool to see that
Yeah.
transformation.
Nice. Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah,
about how you're getting those students in a
sure.
few minutes. But
Okay.
so you did school and you came back and you worked a corporate job in advertising. What made you decide
Yes.
to like did you quit the job and then start your business like sequentially, or did you run the two side by side simultaneously and then you did your business full time?
No, I took a year off and did some traveling and did some soul searching.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I remember on the plane I was thinking about this with my partner at the time. We're now married. So when we started Wing Canvas, my partner Aaron actually quit his job to help me with this business.
Hmm.
And then we later got married. So it just all kind of happened. And
Yeah.
my father encouraged me because he was also an entrepreneur. So he said,
Yeah.
yes, do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. Now if any of my friends are having any problems with their job, my solution is always just start your own business. Because I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years so far and I love it so much. I'm thinking, who wouldn't love this? But it's not for everyone.
It's
Entrepreneurship is not
definitely
for
not
everyone.
for everybody. Yes, it's
For sure,
definitely,
for sure.
it's, yeah.
Well, speaking of entrepreneurship, what do you like most about it?
I like how I'm never bored. Um, when you work for somebody, it's easy to sort of like there are benefits of both. I'm not going to deny it. Like entrepreneurship is really hard,
Yeah.
and it's not for everybody. But there are always new challenges, right? There are always things that keep things interesting. A lot of them include mistakes,
Yes.
expensive ones. But I think what I love most is probably the people, my incredible work family. Um, Being able to make my own schedule, having the flexibility to work when I want is really um, that part is really great, especially with the online business, right? Working whenever you want is great.
Yeah. Although I
Yeah.
find, and it's the same thing for me. That's one of the things I love about entrepreneurship so much, the ability to make your own schedule. Like working whenever you want. It just so happens to be that I want to work all the time. Um,
Yes.
so it's not like you work fewer hours. In my case, because this is fun for me, I want to do more of what's fun. So I end up working 80, 85 hours per week. But it just feels so fun, you know? So I totally get the being able to work when you want, just wanting to work more.
Yes, you definitely work more as an entrepreneur. No doubt. I probably work twice as much as I did when I was working my 9 to 5.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Besides the flexibility with your work and the interesting new challenges all the time, is there anything else that appeals about entrepreneurship that appeals to you?
I think it's just being able to, I mean, everything has a yin and a yang, right? I get
Yeah,
to basically make decisions for the company, but I'm also responsible for other people, right?
yeah,
And the success of the business ultimately is going to be my failure or my success.
yes,
And so that is always an interesting challenge for me. What do I enjoy most? I think I can't really see myself doing anything else. So,
yeah,
yeah, I think just being able to evolve the business,
yeah,
right? That can be really interesting too, because I never thought that I would be a YouTuber. Never
yeah,
when I started, right? I never wanted to be the person in the thumbnails, like,
yeah,
but sometimes a series of events happen and then opportunities fall in your lap, and sometimes they're the wrong ones, right? You
yeah,
learn because you're chasing the wrong idea.
yes.
um and yeah, I think it's just the journey is really interesting.
Absolutely. I can totally relate to that because when I was starting in business, my background is kinesiology. In
Okay.
kinesiology, they teach you anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, but what they don't teach is marketing and sales, which is what you
Yes.
really, really need in small business, which is fair enough because most kinesiology grads don't go into entrepreneurship, but I did. And so at first, of course, the first big challenge that any entrepreneur has is how to get new clients or customers. Eventually you try many, many things. Most of those things fail, and then one will succeed. And then you're like, okay, now I figured out this lead generation thing, this marketing thing, at least a small piece of it.
Yeah.
Now you're like, I'm more flooded than I can handle. Now the next challenge is how do I hire more staff? And how do I
Right.
screen those staff, train those staff? Eventually your staff become full. And then you're like, okay, I figured out the staffing solution, the recruiting solution. Now the next challenge is, well, how to get even more clients? So it's kind of, in my case, again, I've been at this for 16 years so far. It alternates lead gen, more staff, lead gen, more staff. And that's always the next stage of growth. Um, Funny you mentioned that great number of failures in entrepreneurship that you don't really see because nobody really talks about it. I
Yeah.
just wrote a book called The Marketing Graveyard, which talks about 25 of the marketing failures that I've had, and the only four successes that I've had and that actually work. And I find in my case, for every one success, there's about 25 failures. Um, so yeah, entrepreneurship is fascinating, but not for the faint of heart. Um,
Definitely. Yes. Yes.
and
Definitely not for it's definitely not for those who give up easily, because you can't give up. If you give up in business, you fail, right? You
absolutely,
just can't give up. You just have to keep going.
yeah.
Make it work, keep going. Yeah.
I don't know if this story is true or not, but I heard somebody tell this story, which is Elon Musk was once asked by an interviewer, what would you tell somebody to encourage them to start a business? Elon Musk responded with, if they need encouragement to start a business, don't start a business, which means expect to work very,
Yes.
very long hours. expect to do some things that you don't like, but ultimately you can run it the way you want to run it. You can market the way you want to market. Yeah, there's no one size fits all. So you can figure out your own path. Um, Speaking of marketing, what do you do for marketing? How do you get new clients?
Oh, well, that's an interesting question. Right now, YouTube is our main source of traffic and leads because our entire model is we want to make education easily accessible and free for everyone.
Hmm.
So, we have close to 500,000 people learning for free on YouTube from around the world, which is great.
Hmm.
And then so that's our main source of leads. And then we have a online community on Discord that people join to get feedback on their artwork, to connect with other art nerds around the world, to share their process.
Hmm.
And so we get or mostly organic leads that way. In terms of in person, when we were in in-person business, we were at the corner of McCowan and Bullock, like
Hmm.
across the street from the Loblaws.
My wife goes to the
Um,
gym there.
yeah, yeah. So it was mostly for in person, it was mostly walk-ins. So people would find us on Google, walk in, and they would walk into the studio and they would be sold. They'd be like, "Wow, I really want to be here. This
Nice.
place is so cool," right? But with online, it's a whole other beast. Um, there's not as much trust,
Yeah.
right? As an in-person business, where you walk in, you can meet the owner, you can see what's going on.
Hmm.
With online, again, in the world that we're living in, there's so much, there's a lot of fraud, there's a lot of like, mistrust. So a big part of it is building trust. Some people don't become students until 4 or 5 years after they've been following our channel.
Yeah.
So it is a long-term strategy. Um, but the best part is our paid students are able to help us create free content so that we
Hmm.
can help people who aren't able to afford classes.
Wow. So right now, YouTube is your biggest source of new clients.
That's right. Yeah,
Wow. Now
that's
that,
right. It's YouTube.
yeah,
Hmm.
now that in and of itself is very, very difficult. Um, did you have a YouTube strategy? Did you just, post stuff and organically it just grew? Did you hire people to help you with YouTube?
So with YouTube, no, we do it ourselves. We've always done it ourselves. We started posting videos after the pandemic, right? A
Yeah.
lot of our students moved online and they had trouble figuring out digital art programs. So we started making digital art tutorials. And then we had some teachers start streaming.
Yeah.
And then the streaming thing was very new to me. I was more comfortable on the back end.
Yeah.
And then we decided, okay, well, maybe all of our teachers should try streaming because we all have different expertise to share and offer. So then more of us started streaming,
Yeah.
and it was all organic growth. Come to think of it, had I hired experts earlier on, we may be even bigger. And it was hard with YouTube because we're an education first channel.
Yeah.
And it's hard to just have explosive growth unless you are an entertainer, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so a lot of education channels, for us, it was kind of a slow growth. We had a couple videos that blew up and got us a ton of followers or a ton of subs, but
Yeah.
mostly it was just consistency, little by little, baby steps for going on 6 years. Yeah,
Yeah. It's a very, very long, slow grind.
it is. It is.
So
Yeah.
I'm actually checking out your channel right now. It looks like you guys have 475,000 followers, which is quite the accomplishment, but it took a
Thank you.
thousand videos to get there. So at what point did you find that YouTube is consistently getting clients after how many videos?
I would say maybe 3 years in. Let me think. We started in 20, no, 2 years in. We started in 2020,
Yeah.
and in the summer, I would say in 2020, we started posting videos. In the summer of 2022, I remember I was 9 months pregnant. I was on my baby moon with my husband, and we were in the hotel room, and I just saw just the YouTube channel go blow up. And it was like the first time we had a video go viral, and it was completely unexpected. And I wasn't even that involved in working on the
Yeah,
video. Is my a lot of it was my amazing team, and we just saw it blow up. So we it took us 2 years to get to 20,000 followers,
yeah.
and a month to get to 80,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it was just one or two videos that blow up, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then that was it. But again, it's hard to not fall into the trap of, oh, that blew up, so let's do more of that.
yeah,
That particular video wasn't actually super aligned with what we were doing.
yeah,
So it was a difficult decision to be like, okay, we're not just going to do what the algorithm wants, but we're going to stick to what we like the audience that we actually want to build.
yeah, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
hard decision of chase the vanity metrics, the views, or chase the money. Well, entrepreneurship
Yes.
is, you don't pay bills with likes, followers, and shares. You pay bills with money. So you gotta go where the money is.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. I have my own whole odyssey with YouTube. My old channel had about 470 videos. Um, and I hired literally one of the best guys in the world as a YouTube strategist.
Oh,
Spent about
nice.
4,000 bucks per month, um, for 14 months. So it was about 56,000 bucks in total and got nowhere. My channel was
Oh,
actually worse off
interesting.
after him than before him. That was after by doing about 110 videos with him. Um, Before him, I used another very good YouTube strategist on the professional side of things. Sorry, on the technical side of things. I
Oh,
did
I
probably about
see.
70 or 80 videos with him. They did very well, but he became very, very difficult to communicate with. He had his own personal relationship problems, blah, blah, blah. I shot a bunch of videos on my own. And then I started a new channel, which is my current channel. It's not doing very well. It's called PowerPoint Health. But yeah, it's a long, difficult, slow slog because I had an encouraging moment in the first 20 videos, or what one video blew up. Not blew up like your videos blow up, not like 50,000 or a million views, but I got about 25,000 views or something like that. And I thought, oh, this is great. And it was fairly aligned with what I did, which is nutrition and exercise for osteoporosis. Um, I kept popping up more videos. The second video had a small blow up, 2,500 views. And then I'm at about 75 videos now. Nothing's even come close to those. So it's very fascinating to hear that despite your videos not blowing up for 2 years, um, there was one that just made it, and now you're at almost 500,000 followers and a couple of videos over 1 million views. That's amazing. Um,
Thank
so,
you.
what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
I'm always working on new ideas for content, new stream and video ideas, finding and meeting amazing people with a wealth of information and a wealth of knowledge and creative wisdom to share. And I'm just like so excited to make new videos and be able to pass that on. I honestly like I get excited and I think this is an entrepreneurial thing is like when you're excited by ideas and I literally have a list that's so long full of things that I want to do, right? Like I
Yeah.
want to be able to um, do like travel around the world and have workshops,
Hmm.
like in-person workshops with
Right.
all of our fans and students in different locations. So that's like 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
But just so many ideas, but I have to really focus in on the boring stuff, unfortunately. It's
Hmm.
the boring stuff is that moves the needle. So
Yes.
knowing not to chase ideas blindly,
Yes.
because I did that.
Yep.
It cost a lot of money.
Yep.
And to like really know what we do best and focus on that and get better at that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
can totally relate to that because in entrepreneurship, you have your things that you rely on that on the one hand, they are boring in terms of how, like, they're going to bring in profit. They're boring in terms of you know the outcome. Yet I say now they're exciting in their predictability.
Yeah, exactly. You could definitely call it that. It's a really good analogy is from a book called The Pumpkin Plan. I don't know if you read it. It's
No.
by Mike Michalowicz. He
Okay.
he he writes a lot of good business books.
Yes.
And in The Pumpkin Plan, he basically says there are these farmers that grow these enormous prize-winning pumpkins,
Yeah.
right? And in order to grow that huge pumpkin, first of all, you need really good seed
Hmm.
and you need to cut all of the little pumpkins off that vine
Hmm.
to let all the nutrients grow to that big pumpkin. You're
Right.
not going to grow a big pumpkin if you have 60 pumpkins on the vine, right?
Right.
Or even three or even two. It has to be that one that you're putting everything into.
Yeah.
And like business is kind of like that, right? There's just so many ways that we could take, um, uh, so many directions that you could go in, so many ideas that we could pursue. But the danger of it all is just spreading yourself too thin
Yep.
and then not being able to manage and not being able to feed that one pumpkin that's going to give you the most growth.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, I come to the same lesson because I already had stuff that worked, so why was I even trying new things, right? Then at the no, and it's not a bad thing to try new things. It's a bad thing to try new things that are unproven in expense at the expense of the proven thing. Now I'm
correct.
thinking,
Yeah.
okay, let me focus 80% of my time, energy, and money and budget on the thing that's tried as a true guarantee. Oh, like and you never get any guarantees, but as close to a guaranteed growth as possible with this strategy and then spend 20% of my time, budget, etc., energy, um, testing new things. And I'm always playing the game of beat the winner. Like I know this thing works, but let's see if I can find something else that works better. If I do, this thing will get more of my attention and my money, etc. If this doesn't beat the winner, then either I cut it off, or if it's still profitable, just not as profitable as the other one, still devote some time, money, and attention to it. So yeah, it's always it's shiny object syndrome in the entrepreneurship world. There's always
Yeah,
exciting
and
things.
exactly. And like I understand that business is, you have to make a profit to be able to
Yeah,
stay in business, right? And
yeah,
that is sometimes like, do you chase profit? Do you chase meaning? Do you chase good ideas? You kind of have to prioritize a lot of things. And
yep,
so even though profit is one of those things that's the bottom line of your business. Without profit, you can't pay the bills, there's no business, right? You
yep,
you can't pay your staff. So profit is definitely important, but it's also you have to balance it with like a lot of things, like lifestyle and being good to your employees and making moral choices, right?
yes,
And like giving back to your community, and all of those things are the things that bring joy. So it's definitely a delicate balance.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and that is hard to navigate. Like if it was purely profit, all the decisions that I make, I think would be very different.
yeah,
But it depends on the entrepreneur.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been volunteering for the Markham Business Center for about 10 years now, and I had one, I guess, mentee, and he was a videographer. And my co-mentor and I, Stefan Orlob, we were asking him, so how do you currently generate new leads? He says 90% of them are generated through walk-ins. And we asked him, okay, what do you need help with? He said social media. And we said, hold on. 90% is generated through walk-ins and 81 on social media. Why? For scalability. So we explained to him, you can scale in person. Just hire people to do that for you, just to teach them your system. And you can take your business one of two ways, and neither one is wrong or right. You either love videography more than you love money, in which case you hire somebody to do the sales for you and you do all the videography. Or you love money more than you love videography, in which case you do the walk-ins and you hire somebody else to do videography for you. Neither one is right or wrong. It's just which path you want to take, you know? Um, so yeah, lots of decisions to make, and it's not just what's profitable. It's also like to me, it's what's enjoyable.
Yeah, what's meaningful, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
why are we in business?
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
totally.
exactly.
Now you're very busy. You're an entrepreneur. You're a mom. You're a wife. So in the little free time you have, what do you do?
I love skating and hockey. I actually started learning hockey at 31.
Yeah,
So it was not easy, but I'm really enjoying it. I know a lot of people start learning art as an adult and think, oh, like I'm starting so late. I probably missed out on a lot of stuff, right? But I think there's something to be said about starting to learn something as an
yeah,
adult
totally.
and just being totally inspired and having so much fun. And never in my life did I think I would ever play hockey. I was never a sporty person. I was
Yeah,
terrible, very uncoordinated.
right.
So I'm really enjoying that. I have two dogs. I'm spending time. I love spending time with my family, dogs, traveling, any kind of going anywhere. Traveling is one of the things that I enjoy the most.
Nice.
And I'm currently enjoying some good graphic novels and manga in my
Awesome.
spare
Awesome.
time.
What's been your favorite place to travel?
Oh, probably Southeast Asia would be my favorite. India, Cambodia,
Yeah.
were probably two of my favorite places. Very, very wild, and I I like the path less taken. I don't like traveling to big cities. I
Right.
like going to the rural places because that's where you really see the culture and, you know, see, because like every big city is the same. They all have the Rolex store, they all have the Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton store, right? Like
Yeah.
I like going to the small villages.
The non-touristy areas.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, you're actually the second person to say India is their favorite place. I think I had a guest, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, who also said India is their favorite place, and they go there because a bunch of their team is in India. So they go there either once a year, once every 18 months, something like that.
Yeah, I think Hampi was the most magical place that I went to in India. It's a small village,
Yeah,
and it's a World UNESCO Heritage Site.
yeah.
And people are still washing their clothes in the river, right?
Well,
And everything is still very, 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 very raw, very with nature.
yeah,
And I would have never had the opportunity had I not had a friend in India who took me there.
yeah,
Otherwise, I'd be going to see the Taj Mahal and going to Delhi.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of
Those
course.
are great. Those are great places.
Yeah.
But the villages are where it's at.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a reason the tourist attractions are tourist attractions, but
Exactly.
there's also the time and a place for non-touristy areas.
Yes. Yes,
Awesome.
exactly.
Well, since this is after all a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Oh, I have so many.
Okay, it doesn't have to
Uh,
be one. You can list many.
well, a couple of restaurants come to mind. One is next door, which I take team members to very often.
My wife and I are going to that one, I think, in 2 Saturdays.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I really like that restaurant. And Bima's is a new restaurant, vegetarian Indian food. They make a wonderful dosas. I try to support them all the time, as
Hmm.
much as I can. And I got to shout out my dentist, Hunter Dental. I've been to so many different dentists, probably over a dozen, and they are the best. Very professional, very they they're great. They're very thorough and have a great team. So,
Awesome. Shout out to
um,
Hunter Dental.
yeah, and Pencil Studio, a great place for kids to start learning art. They used to be a competitor, but I love, I think that competition is really healthy, and I hope they do really well. They're still in person. We went online, so yeah, shout out to Pencil Studio. Some of my friends' kids go there. And oh my gosh, I have so many, but I'll leave you with that.
Those are great. I really appreciate it. Faye, thank you so much for the conversation, for the insights. This was fantastic.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing.